Hey, fellow YouTubers. So, I just took a walk and I was listening to some YouTube videos along the way. And last night when I watched some YouTube videos, the exact same thing happened. And it just always kind of happens. And that is that I get all of these ads saying you can get $3,600 a month as long as you're over 55 and you make less than 50,000 a year. So they said just those two criteria, and every one I've called, I don't qualify. And why? Because I worked my little tuchus off for 30 years to earn my own health insurance. So look at this scenario. So you can take a 21-year-old that's a full-on softie that sits at home in his pajamas all day, playing video games and smoking pot, little 21-year-old, and has no health insurance. He can call and he can qualify to get more money per month than I earned off of working my little tuchus off for 30 years. And I mean, I'm only counting the time working. I'm not counting the time going to school, all the time having little waiting jobs, gift shop jobs while I was trying to get through college. And I even worked in high school. So it's so sad that our country has come to this, to where we are qualified, rewarding. There's also been, if you have $30,000 in debt, I've even seen some a little bit lower, you qualify, we'll pay this off for you. I've never been in debt. Why? Because I've been willing to put my nose to the grindstone, watch my credit card spending, do all the little things that keep my head above water, right? I'm now punished for that, whereas I could be given for free $30,000 to pay off all my debt. I'm not complaining though, because I'm fine, because I know what Paul says in I think 2 Corinthians said, suffering produces endurance, and endurance produces character, and character produces hope. So I know that there's a lot of good in being a hard-working, responsible person that pays attention to his own business and takes care of business. TCB, right? Taking care of business. That was a ring that Elvis Presley wore, and that I purposely gave my son those initials. So my son's initials are TCB, and I've always explained to him because I wanted him to be someone that takes care of business. And yet that's not what our country wants, because they reward anyone that's a derelict and doesn't take care of business. And the people that really are truly hardworking get punished. I think this all began with sports, where you couldn't reward a kid that has a good work ethic, has fine-tuned his athletic performance. Because I coached for 9 years baseball, like 4 years soccer, and I even coached varsity soccer in high school. But I went against the grain. It was like maybe 17, 18 years ago when I said, screw it. I'm giving out brand new official Major League Baseballs for best batting average, for best attendance, for, I rewarded kids, and some parents didn't like that, but I didn't care. I love these kids, and I wanted to reward the ones that showed me what I wanted to see. And everyone knows the study psychology. We learn through wanting to reproduce pleasurable experiences and wanting to avoid negative experiences. The number one tenet in psychology. And we can't seem to wrap our head around that. The number one tenet in psychology we've veered away from, because people that work hard and pay attention and do their best should be rewarded. And then all those other little derelicts that aren't doing that stuff start to see the rewards they're getting and start to go for those rewards more and go, I'm gonna put my nose to the grindstone. I'm gonna pull up my pants and put on my strap on my shoes, and I'm gonna get strong and tough. That's why I kind of thank God that I had a learning disability, because at the end of second grade, they said, we considered retaining you. I came from a family where I didn't have to do homework when I got home. I was totally on my own, so I didn't do homework, and so I'm not sure if I had a learning disability or not. But second grade, they said I actually sat in a meeting where they talked about retaining me, and I was like, no, I'll do anything. I'll go home and read every night, because it was mainly reading that was my area of concern. That's what I did. I'd get a new book. First one I read was on Pele, my soccer hero. Next one was on Hank Aaron. Next one was on Julius Irving. And I would just read these little books on grade level about my sports heroes. And I'd go home and read at least an hour every day. And then I started trying to do my homework every day too. And that was with no assistance from parents. That was all just me as a little third grader saying, I'm not going to go and repeat a year, by golly. And so there was the threat of something very, very, negative that can socially isolate you and cause a world of pain in a little kid's life. But, I think that's where all this started, was, at least where I could see it, was in sports, that you weren't allowed to reward the kids that focused, and you weren't allowed to neglect the kids that weren't focused and didn't try hard. Anyways, I wonder if we'll ever get back to intelligence and actually, using real knowledge, like, the number one tenet in psychology, and what Paul says about suffering is actually good for you. Anyways, I'm a little bit irritated. I'm sorry, but there was a little bit of a vent session. Leave a comment, hit like or dislike, subscribe. Adios, amigos.